Bigger is always better when it comes to bodybuilding, but for most women, building big muscles can be a monumental challenge. Some embrace extreme training methods, while others resort to illegal substances to achieve that stage-ready physique. However, the side effects of these choices can be severe. From shattering cultural expectations to the perils of steroid abuse, let's delve into the stories of phenomenal females who pushed the boundaries in their pursuit of the perfect body. Some of you might recognize this iconic face from the captivating, yet strange, world of professional wrestling. Nicole Bass made her wrestling debut in 1998, having already established an impressive bodybuilding career. At her peak, she could bench press a staggering 315 pounds, more than 2 full beer kegs combined. However, something about her changed after she began her muscular profession in 1985. While she was toned and muscular in the late 80s, by the 90s, her physique had transformed into a significantly more masculine appearance. This striking transformation made her a standout star in the WWE, her sheer strength making easy work of her opponents in the ring. But her size was anything but natural. Nicole abused anabolic steroids, performance-enhancing drugs that athletes use to increase muscle mass, reduce fat, and enhance physical performance. Steroids can also boost bone production, particularly around the jaw and face, leading to a more pronounced appearance, great for Lou Ferrigno, not so much for everyone else. Sadly, these drugs come with a plethora of devastating long-term consequences, far beyond aesthetic abnormalities. In 2006, Nicole was hospitalized after suffering from steroid-related pancreatitis. Tragically, at the age of 52, she passed away from complications following a stroke and heart attack, conditions that steroid abuse significantly increases the risk of. If you want to test your own strength against these women, try hitting those like and subscribe buttons instead of illegal substances. I'll hook you on the most incredible facts and amazing stories from the internet. Let's get back to the business of boundary-breaking women. Chyna, a cultural icon and wrestler, isn't the only female wrestler who turned heads due to her size. At 5'8" and weighing 205 pounds, her muscular physique made her one of the few women in the WWF who could stand toe-to-toe with the stronger men in the ring. While she denied ever using steroids, her unique build eventually got her into trouble. She attracted the attention of many admirers, including the formidable Triple H. The two wrestlers were dating when Chyna discovered he was having an affair with the daughter of the WWF CEO. Feeling like an irreplaceable asset, she boldly confronted the CEO. However, she misjudged her importance, taking her actions too far. Her contract was promptly terminated, and her wrestling career was abruptly ended. After her unceremonious departure from the world of professional wrestling, she stopped training, losing her famous physique and becoming almost unrecognizable. Remember, kids, if you want a career in wrestling, inflate your muscles, not your sense of self-importance. Sweden, renowned not only for meatballs and IKEA, but also for its unique system of muscle profiling, is one of the most dangerous places for professional bodybuilders who use steroids. If you appear overly muscular, the police have the right to search you for illegal performance-enhancing substances. Sounds a bit far-fetched, right? Well, bodybuilder Irene Anderson learned the hard way that this threat was all too real. This 5'7", 185-pound Swedish bodybuilder has consistently placed highly in competitions and is often hailed as the strongest woman in Sweden at her weight, with not an ounce of fat to be seen. Her defined breast implants even strain against her skin. Incredibly impressive until you learn that it's not all natural. In 2009, Irene was interrogated by police, along with 11 other top bodybuilders, after being subjected to muscle profiling. A small amount of steroids was discovered in her possession, which she admitted were for personal use. She was fined 500 kroner, roughly $89 at the time, a high price to pay for the lasting damage to her reputation. Even without steroids, some strong women are just too good at building muscle, as Kim Thunder Thighs Chazewski discovered. Despite having no training or preparation, this young fitness model finished second in her first ever bodybuilding show, weighing in at 121 pounds. Her natural advantage was undeniable, and she decided to build upon this foundation with astounding results. It's clear where she got the nickname Thunder Thighs from. In 1996, she won her first Miss Olympia title, the pinnacle of professional bodybuilding. She defended this prestigious title for 3 more years, but her incredible size became her downfall. At a staggering 157 pounds of pure muscle, she set a new standard in female bodybuilding, one that the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness, IFBB, deemed excessive. In 2000, the IFBB changed their rules for female bodybuilding to encourage more femininity, meaning fewer bulky muscles and greater emphasis on facial features and makeup. Was this a bodybuilding contest or a beauty pageant? It was a rather sexist move, considering their male counterparts didn't have to worry about muscle size or the state of their lipstick. Unfortunately, this change forced Chazewski to reduce her impressive muscles to stay in the game. She competed in fitness and figure competitions in the 2000s, but without much success. It seems this real-life She-Hulk became her own worst enemy. How long do you think you could eat the same meal over and over again? For bodybuilder Renee Campbell, her high-performance diet never changes. A cold concoction of chicken, rice, eggs, and cabbage, consumed every 3 hours, 7 days a week. Sounds like a smoothie from hell. To maintain her colossal 47-inch back and 17-inch calves, this 5'8" athlete religiously consumes around 5,000 calories a day, over twice the recommended amount for a regular woman, just to keep her weight around 200 pounds. Her dedication to her diet is so intense that she even carries a set of scales to weigh her food in restaurants. But this incredibly strict regimen, followed for 8 years, has paid off big time. In 2012, she secured the prestigious title of overall world champion and was awarded her professional bodybuilding status by the IFBB. But would you be willing to give up things like ice cream and chicken nuggets forever for a physique like that? Personally, I wouldn't last 5 minutes. Have any of you guys been on any crazy diets? Let me know in the comments below. At just 5'1", Colette is one of the shortest professional female bodybuilders in the world. Despite her petite frame, her competing weight reached a massive 150 pounds, meaning she packed a lot of muscle into that tiny package. She began training at the age of 26 and managed to win the 1989 Montreal Bodybuilding Championship just 2 years later. She continued to improve until disaster struck in 1997. A near-fatal accident took her out of action, and after 9 surgeries, her body was left asymmetrical. Determined not to let this disfigurement stop her, she trained twice as hard to overcome her disability. Amazingly, in 2005, her perseverance helped her win the Canadian Heavyweight Bodybuilding Championships, making her an official professional. However, pushing herself so hard meant she competed in only 3 events. Despite this, she continued to improve her physique. By 2018, she reached a staggering 175 pounds, clearly pushing her proportions to their limits. Those calves looked too big to even fit inside her pants. Thank goodness for stretchy leggings, I guess. Next up, we're going to the other end of the spectrum. This is Marta Lenova. While she may look like your average strong woman, she wasn't always this fit. At the age of 14, Marta developed the most fatal of all mental disorders, anorexia nervosa, with a mortality rate of around 10%. Marta became terrified of gaining weight and starved herself, her 17-year-old skeletal frame weighing just 70 pounds, about the same as a 10-year-old child. For years, she battled this disease until the age of 24, when she joined a gym. As her love for fitness grew, she traded starvation for serious muscle gain. She developed so much muscle that her brand new 140-pound body was ready to compete in her first tournament. With her phenomenal physique, she placed a respectable 3rd. But by 2018, she won the women's bodybuilding category of the British ICN UK competition. She even started her own fitness business to help others get in shape. What an incredible transformation from skeletal scare to bodybuilding brilliance. Since 1992, Diana Cadell has been competing as a bodybuilder. In 1992, she tipped the scales at an incredible 127 pounds of pure muscle. She won the 2004 Miss Olympia lightweight category. She trained rigorously until 2011, coming second on several occasions, but never again winning that coveted first place. Despite her impossibly muscular physique, the more masculine qualities of her frame, like her broad shoulders and chiseled jawline, led people to speculate about steroid use. Diana insisted it was her genetics that helped her build muscle easily. However, the most shocking part of Diana's transformation comes from looking at her today. Her Instagram looks like it's been taken over by a completely different woman. The strangest parts are the almost impossible-looking proportions she now boasts, showing she traded one extreme for another. Along with those good genetics she previously praised, she now uses a fairly extreme waist training method to achieve that tight-looking tummy. But that's not her only secret. Unless her butt has its own gravity field, it looks like she also emphasizes her preposterous proportions using Photoshop. It seems this strong woman went to two separate extremes, with mega muscles and a super cinched waist. But which look do you think suits her best? When you first lay eyes on this photo of Renee Tony from her younger years, you might think she looks just like any other young athlete with her lean muscles and flat stomach. But fast forward to the 2000s, and the only ordinary thing about this muscled maven was her extraordinary physique. At 5'8", bodybuilder Renee weighed in competitively at a staggering 214 pounds, just a few pounds shy of the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger, who competed at a colossal 235 pounds. Just look at the number of veins popping out of her skin during this pose. She looks like a human river map. But her veins aren't the only thing bulging out. Those biceps look like they belong on a male competitor. In fact, Renee holds the world record for the largest biceps on a female, with an astounding 20-inch right bicep and 20.25-inch left bicep. Those are two very hefty tickets to the gun show. She claimed this record back in 2006, and no other woman has been able to snatch it from her. With arms that size, I'll be surprised if anyone, man or woman, could take anything from her. As impressive as it looks, she has admitted to using steroids in the past to help her make those colossal gains. She's clearly no stranger to their masculine side effects, like developing a stronger jaw, broader shoulders, and reduced breast size. Would any of you guys be brave enough to take her on in an arm wrestling contest? At just 21 years old, Joanna Thomas became the youngest woman in the UK to become a professionally recognized female bodybuilder. Being so young and muscular, she shot to fame in the US and achieved several high ranks at bodybuilding competitions from 1997 to 2007. While she scoffed at insinuations of steroid use, she was actually doing something even worse. Joanna regularly underwent excruciating massage sessions that tore her muscles apart. It was as painful as it sounds, but this practice helped her muscles grow larger. Sadly, the training and torture Joanna endured to achieve these gargantuan proportions took a toll on her later in life. In 2019, she started suffering from severe early-onset osteoarthritis in her knees, a condition worsened by her years of brutal training. She lost almost all of her mobility, and unable to train, her definition dwindled until she looked unrecognizable. She was eager to return to the heavyweight world, but sadly passed away in April 2020. Let's all pray there's a really good gym up in heaven. Many bodybuilders take their training to an obsessive level, but for Mimi Diatomo it was an addiction, quite literally. She began training in the early 1990s to become a bodybuilder, but after 3 years, her desire for a winning physique led her to use a mix of drugs to get the results she needed. She started taking a chemical cocktail of steroids, insulin, diuretics, human growth hormone, beta blockers, and even anti-wasting HIV drugs. These helped her rank highly in several North American middleweight titles, but the more masculine side effects of this toxic mix began to affect her appearance. She made the difficult decision to stop using them before effects like a lower voice from thickened vocal cords and facial hair became permanent. It took her 3 years to recover, but hormonal withdrawal caused her to gain 40 pounds, her joints ached, and she suffered from depression. As of 2015, she looked happy and healthy, though her workouts seemed to have gotten considerably lighter. At 5'7" and weighing in at 225 pounds, Natalya Kuznetsova is currently the world's largest female bodybuilder. This colossal Russian, just 29 years old, has been training for over 15 years to achieve this unbelievably jacked body. Kuznetsova's thighs measure in at around 29 inches, bigger than the average waist of most women, while her biceps measure in at a staggering 19 inches, about the same size as a XXL adult neck. She claims to hold world titles for the ladies' bench press at a massive 375 pounds, as well as the deadlift at 530 pounds. That's a fun way of saying that if she ever got you in a chokehold, you'd be out like a light. But how on earth did this skinny mini develop into such a hulking woman? As you probably already guessed, Kuznetsova has been pretty open about her use of anabolic steroids. She claims to only use them in small doses prior to competitions to give her an edge, but even that seems to have had a lasting effect. Along with more masculine qualities like a noticeable decrease in body fat, her voice is also much more baritone. Do you think the trade-off of a deep voice for an 8-pack like this is worth it? Let me know in the comments. Beauty standards have become a well-known feature of Korean culture, with ideals for both men and women focusing on petite frames and slim figures. But in her quest to take her fitness to the next level, Yan Wooji threw those ideals out the window. As you can see, at 36 years old, her incredibly muscular physique shatters the typical Korean ideals and places her firmly in a league of her own. She works out 6 days a week, and her intense training regimen saw her weight drastically increase from a tiny 105 pounds to a beefy 154 pounds in just a few years. She's competed in IFBB events like the Vancouver and New York Pro, finishing in the top 5 both times. But she received an amazing reception on the set of the Korean show Star King in 2016, where her muscles were unveiled to the audience's absolute shock and awe. Just look at the hilarious faces these people are making. They clearly can't believe their eyes. But the real surprise is yet to come. Like Natalya Kuznetsova, her voice is very low, which could indicate steroid use. But exercise alone can trigger higher testosterone production, which may also be responsible. I don't know about you, but I think those amazing muscles are totally worth it just for the gobsmacked looks on the crowd's faces. If Brigitta Brezovic hadn't seen the poster of Anya Longer in her local gym, her appearance today would be quite different. The German Valkyrie inspired Brigitta to start weight training at just 14 years old. Now, at age 40, the supermuscular Slovenian's body has earned her 3 IFBB competition titles, ranking in the top 5 of each contest. But the journey to achieving a ripped figure like her idol hasn't been easy. In 2004, she attempted to enter the World Fitness Championships but was immediately disqualified from her category for being too stacked. Brigitta had gone above and beyond the stature of her Valkyrie idol and was advised to compete in the bodybuilding category instead. She readjusted her training and pushed her 116-pound frame to a competing weight of 143 pounds. It seems the only fitness problem she had from there on was fitting a shirt over those gigantic arms. At first glance, would you believe these two images are of the same person? In 1993, Denise Rutkowski was a 5'5", 155-pound bodybuilding goddess. She came first in 5 national physique competitions from 1988 to 1993 and placed a respectable second during the 1993 Miss Olympia. But she was hiding a secret, much darker than that tan, one that would only become apparent 20 years later. In 2013, Denise was arrested for criminal trespassing, but her mugshot is barely recognizable. The blonde bombshell now sported a healthy bush of facial hair, a side effect that can present itself in women who have suffered from long-term abuse of some anabolic steroids. She was arrested 4 more times between 2013 and 2015, although all charges against her were eventually dropped. But each rugged mugshot indicated that the damage the steroids had done in their golden bodybuilding years would have a severe impact on the rest of her life. Since then, Rutkowski has worked hard to be the best she can be, becoming a minister at a homeless shelter. She also works with her local police department in the Bible Belt of Texas to help keep homeless kids out of trouble. So even though she no longer looks like your stereotypical hero, she's become one in a lot of other ways. If you watched this far and thought the side effects of steroids don't seem that bad, you've clearly never seen Candace Armstrong. She was once a slamming blonde young woman who transformed herself into a hulking brunette beefcake. While her transformation wasn't a conscious decision, her abusive steroid use to become a super huge bodybuilder has left her with some life-altering side effects. You can see by that 4 o'clock shadow that she now grows facial hair. Her breasts have reduced in size, and to top it off, she's even grown a ding-dong. Okay, it's not a real ding-dong, but her lady parts have swollen to 1 inch long, effectively turning it into a mini schlong. Think those side effects sound manageable? Well, before she developed an addiction to using steroids, Candace wasn't aware that the drugs could result in irreversible changes like this. You heard that right, irreversible. While she may never get her normal-sized lady parts back, she does have an incredible set of biceps that would put most men to shame. Of all the women we've seen so far, it's possible that none of them have taken things quite as far as Iris Kyle. She's a 10-time winner of Miss Olympia, the only bodybuilder ever to win that many first-place Olympia titles, including the men, with Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman tied with 8 wins each. By that count, she is technically the most successful bodybuilder ever. By God. Can you see why? At 5'7" and with a 172-pound competing weight, this muscled veteran has been competing since 1994, which I bet makes her older than most people watching this video. But she's not done pushing the boundaries. At an incredible 45 years old, the once reigning champion announced she would be returning to the competitive world of bodybuilding in 2020 after a 6-year hiatus. At 45, I don't even think I'll be able to touch my toes, let alone work out to get that large. Which of these women do you think took it way too far? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.